Hi, sorry I wasn't here today. I had to go home, wasn't feeling well, but I wanted to put some directions on for today's assignment since I'm not there to help you. So, on the seismic wave simulation and notes, have your Earth's interior notes packet ready and open to page 8, sitting next to your computer. And then you're going to go to the seismic wave simulation and notes and click Start New Attempt. So, I'll do that. And when you get to this first page, it tells you to click here to open the notes document to complete as you work through the simulation. You won't need this document because you have the notes packet next to you. You'll just make sure that you're on page 8, and it should say at the top you're using the seismic wave simulation. You're going to click here to go to the simulation link. This is going to open a website that is a simulator, and it's tracking an earthquake that happened in 2004 on the island of Sumatra in Indonesia. We'll go back to our Polaris assignment, and it says to label the layers of the Earth. If you don't know your layers, it says to use the simulation if needed. So I'm going to go back to the simulation, and I'm going to kind of drag this open a little bit. And notice I've got my mantle, outer core, inner core. My crust is actually out here on the surface. So I can drag this back around, and I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to label my inner core in the middle and the most inside. Outer core is outside the inner. Then my mantle, and my crust is going to be this outermost layer. So I'm going to put them in like that. And then we'll go to the next question. And notice it's giving me some information on seismic waves. There's a little picture, and then it says seismic waves, and it has these statements with underlined words. This is where you're going to go to your notes packet and you're going to fill in the words. So it says seismic waves are vibrations that travel in all directions, carrying released energy from an earthquake. So they're earthquake waves. And then you have body waves. Those are the ones that are going into the inside of the earth, in the earth's interior. You have surface waves that are only traveling on the outside surface or the crust. And we use these earthquake or seismic waves to determine the depth and the composition of what is inside the earth or the earth's layers. So if you go to your notes, this is what you've got on page 8. So you're going to fill in the blanks with those words: vibrations that travel in all directions, carrying released energy from an earthquake. And you'll just fill in, these are what we just read through. So once you have those filled in, you'll keep going. And it says click the play button and let the simulation run for 6 seconds. Drag the right side of the earth to the left so you can see the ocean and the continent. So you're going to make it look like this. And it wants to know how many types of seismic waves are created during an earthquake. So I'm going to go to my simulation and I'm going to move it so I can see the crust and the inside. And then I'm going to hit the play button over here. And an earthquake occurs, and then it's showing you these waves traveling out. These are seismic waves in all directions. And it wants to know how many different types of waves are there. We've got red ones, this aqua blue colored, and yellow. So if I go over here to my key and I click on or hover above each one of these and it will tell you information. Red is P waves, aqua is S waves, and yellow are surface waves. So I have 3 different types of waves. So I'm going to go back and it says how many different types of waves were created. I'm going to select 3 because there were P waves that were red, S waves that were aqua, and yellow surface. It says, what are the types of seismic waves created during the earthquake? I can go back and I can look at my key down here and see that there are P, S, and surface. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say there were surface waves. Nope. S waves, yes. P waves, yes. No to radio. And then I go next. Which type of wave travels the fastest? I can go, and if I don't remember, I can hit pause, reset, the earthquake goes again, and the fastest ones are going to be first. So the red ones are the first ones, they're going the fastest. Those are P waves. I look right here in my key to see P waves, and I'm going to go back over here and put P waves are the fastest. Which type of waves travel the slowest? Those would be the last ones to come out. And if you look, the red came first, then the blue, then this yellow. Some of you might be thinking, what about these that are coming out now? Those are bouncing off of a layer inside the earth or traveling back out to the surface. The original was red first, aqua second, yellow last. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to pick surface waves were the slowest, they were the last. And then it wants you to reset the earth so you can see the layers, run the simulation, and watch the waves that go into the earth. Which type of waves are body waves? Because they go into the earth's interior. There are two of them. So I'm going to go back to my simulation and I'm going to hit reset. And as I watch, the red ones are going into the earth. The aqua colored ones are going into the earth. The yellow ones don't go inside the earth. They're only staying on the surface. So the two I'm going to select are the red P wave and this aqua blue S wave. So I'm going to go back over here and say P waves and S waves are body waves because they go into the earth. Which type of wave is able to travel all the way through the earth to the opposite side? So I'm going to look to see what color makes it to the other side. I could even open my earth up and watch. So notice my red go in. So the P waves are the ones that go all the way into the inner core and out the other side. So I'm going to go over here and say P waves. Which type of wave does not travel all the way through the earth? It only travels through a few layers. Those are S waves. They go through a few layers and then they bounce off. If we reset it and watch it again, so we'll go pause, reset. My P waves we know go through all the layers. Watch these aqua. They go into the mantle and they're going to keep traveling through the mantle. Watch what happens to this aqua colored S wave when it hits the outer core. It bounces and starts going back out to the surface. So watch this one. It hits and then it comes back out, going back up to the surface. So we'll pause it. I'm going to come over here. S waves only go through and then a few layers through the mantle and then they bounce off. It says turn the earth so you can see the waves that are in the crust but do not go through the earth. What type of wave stays on the crust? So I'm going to turn my earth back. Which type only stays on the crust? Now there are some P, but remember P waves go into the earth too, and then S waves, but the yellow ones only stay on the crust. So we're going to say surface waves, the yellow ones only stay on the crust. Now, when we get here, notice it's talking about waves again, and they're giving you some properties of waves called reflection and refraction. There's nothing here that's telling you to do with the simulation, but if you look on page 8, this is where we left off in our notes. So this is where you're going to go back to your notes and start putting the words in the blanks. You'll continue to do the simulation and the notes. Whenever there's notes, you're going to put them in your packet. Whenever there's questions with the simulation, you're going to answer in Polaris. And this should take you all the way through page 10. I hope to be back tomorrow and see you then. Continue working on your simulation. And remember, please turn your packet and your Density Tower Lab in the tray before leaving today.